Alright, complete graphic novel haul for November of 2024. So you already saw the room tour. And what's funny about these videos, this video I'm uploading like a few days ahead of schedule. Like I'm recording a few days early. If I even plan to do a room tour, you're getting it a day, like you already saw it. And that was on, it's going to be uploaded on Saturday, tomorrow. And this is going to be uploaded on Sunday. So I find that kind of funny the way I do that, like I schedule videos ahead of time. But 11 books this month. You'll soon see why that is. Recording videos, and I know something's like out there. Usually downstairs. I just feel a bit weird. So it's like super quiet. That's why some videos I would do like it would be like I talk really quietly. There's one like you barely hear what I was saying because I was so paranoid back then. Now I just kind of don't care, but I guess just doing that. That's what I'll do sometimes. But first one up is Good Comics for Bad People. Now this one is a good example of third-party sellers sometimes not being as good as, sometimes being just as good as Amazon. There's a little bump here. It's not a big deal, but it's always like it's a hardcover. How can you make it? How can there be blemishes on a hardcover that's new? It's a new copy. Again, not a big deal. It's not going to affect the reading at all whatsoever. But this is written and drawn, created, everything done by Zach M. Safford. And it's Good Comics for Bad People, an extra fabulous collection. And it's just a collection of his webtoon, webcomic. And it's apparently like stories about his life, it seems to be, based off the trailer he did. That was really well done. It's on Image Comics. This is his website. Maybe that too, but no, on their YouTube channel. It's on there. And it's actually a lot of the comic trailers for Image, usually it's just like showing, like there's one that for Shanghai Red that was literally just showing the comic, and it would zoom in on like the sharks, it would zoom in on the ship, and yeah, like it kind of like have music, so it would pump you up, but like sometimes that's all it is. It's just like showing the cover, showing the sum of the interior artwork. But then you'll get lucky, and then like something for like Bolero, that's really well done. It tells about the story, shows a lot of panels, and it's like they have some sort of motion for them, like kind of going from left to right, kind of that thing, like that kind of like pan, almost like if it were a movie, but not really. But most of the time it's just like showing just random panels and showing like just random artwork, and not really saying anything about the comic itself at all. But sometimes they will do that. I think it just depends on the person themselves. That's the creator of the comic. But either way, I think doing comic trailers in general is a good idea, and I don't really mind it if they do it the way they do it, like this Shanghai Red. Either way, I'm glad they have a trailer for Shanghai Red, the comic book. Because if you're subscribed to Image Comics' website, their YouTube channel, she'll show up in your subscription feed, like, oh, Shanghai Red, I'll check that book out, and then Christopher Sabala gets more publicity and more money, and more money to get more books like anything like that. And you guys know what I'm talking about. So interior artwork. Yeah, this is collecting comics from his webtoon, webcomic. It keeps saying the wrong thing. From his webcomic. So it doesn't collect it's not like issues 1 through 6 or anything like that. It's just the collections from his webtoon. Then next up is Monstress, and this one collects 49 to 54. I remember that. I need to look at it. Sometimes this is so annoying what I hate about books. Oh yeah, actually, let's say it right here. But sometimes on the back, like I think there was actually a series that I had gotten like it was like 4 volumes at once, and like volume 3 didn't say what issues it collected, but on the back here. But volumes 1 through 2 did. It's like, yeah, volume 1 through 6, volume 2 7 through 12, but no 13 to 18 for volume 3. You had to go in the book itself. I always hate when you had to do that. Like I like when they have it on the back, and I don't know why they don't. But yeah, so Monstress volume 9, the possessed Marjorie Leo writing the book, and Sandra Kate doing the artwork as always. It hasn't changed one at all, and I think it's pretty insane. He's been the same exact creative team 9 volumes in. There's the artwork for it. I almost want to go so far as to say that they've never had a guest artist There's always been Marjorie Liu and Santa Queda. Yeah, it's the interior artwork. Monstress Volume 9, I'll show it again. I feel like I just did it too quickly. Definitely very, like, the artwork here is, like, already a selling point. What is that from there? It's weird on my end. Oh, it was that. I thought it was, like, that was, like, a scribble on the book. I was like, why are they censoring the language? It's just rated M for mature. They never censor the language. Anyone have any reason to? Yeah, Monstress, so, speaking of Monstress, so I got the first 7 volumes, like, way back when, and I think every year, except for this year, I get kind of, like, I wouldn't say tricked, but part of me thinks, oh, it's over, and that's, when this series is finished, I will definitely binge read the entire series. I read the first 3 volumes, like, a long time ago, so I know it's going to be a series I'm going to like, but it's been a while since I've jumped into that series, so I'm not caught up. And the reason why that is because they just keep coming out with issues. Like, it's one of those things where I'm just going to keep reading the same issues over and over and over and over and over again. And it's going to be basically clockwork every year, annually. I'm reading all 54 issues, and that's just a lot for me to do. And I'd rather just wait until a series is over, a series I know I'm going to like, and then I'll binge read it. And that's kind of been the case with Monstress. And that's the one thing that and I think it's the one reason why I don't get a whole lot of ongoings, I would say. And if I do, I kind of drop them, like I did with, not intentionally, of course, but like I did with Philadelphia. I still not gotten caught up on that series. And it's because they just keep coming out with issues. It's ongoing. It's an ongoing series. I guess with Image, I'm used to buying series like Wicked and Divine and Wayward that have plenty of issues, but they're over now. Like, it's 30 issues for Wayward and, like, what, like, over 40 for Wicked and Divine. I think it was like 43 for Wicked and Divine. I guess I'm just so used to doing that. So I gotta think of the books I got, like, last month. Yeah, that's about the same. And I'm not intentionally doing that, but it is a good way for me to budget also. Like, I could get the most recent volume of Philadelphia every month that comes out. Like, let's say it's every 6 months. The newest volume of Philadelphia comes out. I could do that, but I also could save that $16.99 and spend it on another book. Get 2 books that are from third-party sellers like new, so they're used like new, so they're $7 a pop. I can do that. It's just one of those things where I have so many books to get just from Image Comics themselves. That's a really good way to budget myself. But Monstress, I will always get the newest volume of Monstress, probably because I'm all caught up, and all I have to do is spend $16.99 on the newest volume, which I do not mind doing. Actually, it was a slight discount, the $1 off, but still, a discount. That helps. This most recent one is the main reason why I didn't just repurpose a Drunk Comic Haul and then re-upload it for my complete November 2024 haul, and that is because we had one outstanding comic. The reason why that is because at the last minute I got a gift card, and I was like, you know what? I'm getting Scarlett by Kelly Thompson with artwork done by Marco Ferrari, and then colors by Lee Luffridge. Collecting all 5 issues of the miniseries. If it is a miniseries, but it's the first 5 issues or all 5 issues. I want to say it's a miniseries. I'm not 100% sure. But this is part of the Energon universe. This is connected to G.I. Joe. It's the next, and I looked it up. It was the next chapter in G.I. Joe. I don't think I was, no, it's actually right here. I almost want to say I wasn't 100% sure. But I guess it's a character in G.I. Joe. I don't know if Kelly Thompson created Scarlett or Scarlett was originally a G.I. Joe character beforehand. That should go to show is how much I don't know about G.I. Joe. How little I know about G.I. Joe. I do want to get the Compendium, though. The Compendium is already out, right? Yeah, it's already out. Transformers hasn't come out yet. I wanted to... They're scheduled to come out originally. It was scheduled to come out, like, a few months within one another. But now Transformers got moved to June. But that's another thing. Like, it's just the first 50 issues of a 300 issue for G.I. Joe, at least, or 300 issue series. Plus spin-offs. But I also consider getting it. It's one of those things I kind of feel like I need to get because it's kind of like a nice little time capsule because it's the original Marvel years, but Image from Image now, which I think is really cool. And I think they got the license to do all the spin-offs too. Like, they don't have to take away. It's not like they have to not release. Was it issue 3 of Transformers that had a crossover with Spider-Man? They can still release that. maybe that's why it's being delayed, is because there is that crossover, so they have to kind of make sure they get all the rights and everything like that. I mean, there's some issues there, and that's why it got delayed so far into the future. But it does seem like they're able to do that now, which I think is insane. No, I don't think that means we'll ever get Spawn Spider-Man, which I would never want to get anyways. But it'd be cool to see. But I mean more the fact because I'm not collecting Spawn, and it's just another Spawn spin-off that'd be released then. Yeah, that's another reason why I don't get into Spawn, is just because that's the main reason I don't get into Spawn, is there's so many spin-offs, and I don't even know where, like, I know where to start. I can get the compendiums, and then just from there get the spin-offs, like, here and there, but again, there's way too much to get to care to even give a single shit about Spawn. And the many spin-offs. Even though one is written by Sean Lewis, I know it'll be good. But anyways, Scarlett, I know I showed the interior artwork. I know I showed everything I need to do. Yeah, 1 through 5. How much to say? Moving on. Next one, I think, is the only one that I have 2 volumes of. Because everything else is either like a complete collection or just a 1-volume series, a mini series, or just the newest volume of Monstress in that case, in Monstress's case, the newest volume of the series. So this is the only 2-volume series I have of the same series this month, and that is Antarctica Volumes 1 and Volumes 2. Antarctica Volume 1, out in the cold, written by Simon Burks, with artwork done by Will Roberts. Yep. Oh no, sorry, Willie Roberts, who also appears to be doing the colors too, because they just credits a letterer after. They don't credit a colorist, so I imagine it's just Willie Roberts. Here is the artwork, speaking of. And this, Volume 1, collects 1 through 5 of Antarctica. This is a book that I was just kind of saw advertised on Image Comics as his website. I think it was solicit, so it's like, Antarctica, it's a continent, also a comic, so I'll check that one out. Just kind of one of those things. I was like, why not? Simon Burks he's one of those writers who, for Image Comics, has only done this and the next book you'll see. So just this series and one other series, so 3 total. I was like, screw it, I'm gonna get it. Because it's usually, like, that's a good way, that's a kind of a way for me to get into a series, because there's not a whole lot of it, and I can get easily caught up. Like, this is a 10 volume maxi series. That's it for Antarctica, and that's over. You know, that's a nice little selling point for me, if you will. I know it's stupid, but that's the way I am with comics. I'm just a huge ass completist. I don't think I'll ever get back on the omnibus game for Marvel and DC, just because of the fact that I'm like, yeah, cool, I would get Spider-Man, which is a recent one. I would get all of David Michelinie and Mark Bagley's run on Spider-Man, but not every issue David Michelinie has done, just a run he did with Mark Bagley. And even if I do, like, I'm trying to give a good example, Star Wars by Jason Aaron. Cool, I have that entire run in an omnibus format. I would love that series, so I'd own it myself. And then I get the Kieran Gillen run, which I have not read yet, and I'm actually not able to finish yet, because all my library had was the first, 8 volumes at best, and I was never able to finish the Kieran Gillen run on Spider-Man, on Star Wars. So I'd have that omnibus. Cool, but there's so much Star Wars after that, even the most recent run, you know? There's the Charles Soule run, and there's, spin-offs there and there and there. And it's just, for me, I'm more content with having something like Antarctica, where it's such a 2-volume series, and if I want to get everything that Simon Burks has done for Image, well, I just get Stairway Anthology as the other book. I just get that book, and that's all it is for Simon Burks, and now I have everything he's done. And for a good writer I actually know, like Kieran Gillen, I have everything he has done so far that's been released in trade form. Power Fantasy is coming out in February, but when February comes around, I will have everything he's done for Image Comics so far. It's a complete, and I have all Power Fantasy. And just Wicked and Divine, I have all Wicked and Divine. There's no spin-offs for Wicked and Divine, there's no crossovers. All I have to get is all 9 volumes of Wicked and Divine, and I have that entire series. And I can just read all of it from start to finish, without having to worry about, oh, there's a spin-off here, oh, there's a spin-off there. No, because I have all 9 volumes. That's how I am. Like, at first, that's how I was. I was like, at first, that's all I was fine. I was okay with it. Okay, I have all of Wicked and Divine, all 9 volumes. But then I was like, well, I really like Kieran Gillen. Let's see what else he's done for this publisher. Oh, a lot. And I just got carried away, and then that's why I am the way I am now. but I don't mind it. You know, I like, you know, it's I feel more complete when I have all of what this guy has done for Image Comics. Right, I like. Simon Burks, I've not read a single thing he's done, so I can't say if I like his writing or not. But time will tell. Okay, so so tangent over. Back onto the task at hand. Antarctica Volume 2, Ghost of Christmas Past. Yes, it's very ironic that I'm doing, Christmas book, technically. And I'm releasing this right after Thanksgiving. But this is 6 through 10 of Antarctica. So 10 issue maxi series. Same creative team. Same exact creative team. And then we have the aforementioned Stairway Anthology. Now, what's ironic here is that Simon Burks' story here is Antarctica. I found that very funny. So I'm going to show the entire credits page, so you guys can see. I'm going to kind of try and zoom in if I can, so let's do that. Because I don't know how well you guys' zoom will work if it's that far away. And this page here. Yeah. Hopefully you guys knew well enough to pause and want to see who all the writers were. Most of them I did not recognize. I thought there was. I could have sworn it was like someone like Gail Simone had done a story for the Stairway Anthology. Not actually Gail Simone. It's a writer I recognized. I was like, oh, that's a nice little surprise. So on top of Simon Burks, you also got this writer, but for the life of me, I can't see it. I can't find it. Maybe it was an artist. But I usually don't care about the artists. Unless it's someone like big who I never thought would do anything for do any artwork for Image, like Salby Shema or John Romita Sr., that I really don't care who the artist is, so long as the art is good. Like, if it's gonna be someone like Erica Henderson, and she's gonna make it look even worse than it does with Squirrel Girl, I usually don't care about the artwork, so long as it fits the narrative. Like, I'm not like, oh my god, the Lee Lethbridge is the artwork for this series, I'm gonna buy this series even though I don't like the writer. No, I would never do that. It's writer as the biggest deal for me. And that's so I never be like, for the artist here, I'd never be like, okay, now I need to get everything Lee Lethbridge has done for as far as artwork is concerned for Image. No, he's done for the writing for Image Comics. That's what I care about, because that's what I usually remember from books. It's the writing, you know. Yeah, the artwork sometimes can be really good. I'm not gonna say the artwork is like isn't a make it or break it deal, but for the most part it is. You know, it's like whatever. I don't mind the like if the artwork is absolutely atrocious, sure, like that 9-ounce mouse series from Adult Swim, if it's that bad, like where it's just crayon drawings, sure, I'm not gonna want to pick it up. I'll be less inclined to pick it up, but as long as it again fits the narrative enough, I really don't care who the artist is. Part of that is also I'm a bit art blind. Like, all 80s comics look the same to me as far as artwork goes, like Marvel or DC. So, and it's probably the best example of how I'm art blind. So, again, it's not a make it or break it. It's not really a make it or break it deal with me. It's like, okay, who's a writer? Is it a series that looks interesting? I'm gonna get it. But it is really art. I'm just gonna do it again because I keep thinking I didn't do it, even though I know I did. It's Antarctica, right? Yes. So the artwork for Antarctica. Now I want to see if it was the same artist too. I wonder. Just out of curiosity. Speaking of artists. No, Alberto J.A. and colors done by Chris Northrup. Now we're on to the next two books are ones in the. So every month I try and do at the very least, one series that the library had, but I liked it so much that I bought it myself, or it's just prominent enough for me to own. Because that's another thing I've been kind of getting carried away with. Again, I don't mind one single bit, because I have since bought Mother of Madness. I always said, I'm not going to buy that one because I hated that series, the worst Image comic I've ever read. But if I own the best Image comic I've ever read, I should also own the worst. I think that is a fair, it's fair to do. And it was, I also, I know I always told the story. I also wanted to see what condition a hardcover would come in used good. Not used very good, used good. And I'm happy to say that you can't tell the difference between used very good and used good with that copy of Mother Madness. And technically, it's a library copy. It says LC copyright, and it was like a barcode. It looked like a library barcode. So I always assumed it was a library barcode, and it was from a library, but I don't think it is. I stupidly said Library Congress. Yeah, right. I don't think, because they for Library Congress, like, you need like 20,000 different access keys to get it, to even think about getting into Library Congress. As every avid reader's wet dream is to be allowed to go into Library Congress, even for just one night, for 24 hours. It'd be awesome. It's the ultimate dream of mine, honestly, because they have everything there, like everything. Like you can't, if they had a store, the Library of Congress is like, okay, we're gonna sell everything we have here, and like there would be no way that anyone who's an avid reader would not come out with this for the fat stack of comics or fat stack of books in their hand, when they left that store. I don't know why I said comics for avid readers, but you know what I meant. For books. I think they have movies too, if I'm not mistaken. It's not just literature. It's media in general. Yes, I count books and comics as media. That's why I used to be called multimedia man. But this just in comics makes it way more sense. So anyways, the book that the library had that I like so much that I now own it in my personal collection is Jeff Lemire's Plutona. Specifically, it's written by Jeff Lemire with artwork done by Emmy Lennox and colors done by Jordi Belair. Jordi Belair I know as a colorist, so it's so easy for me to just do process of elimination and say Emmy Lennox is the artist. Ain't that convenient? But this one I really liked. I remember, from what I remember, it ended on a cliffhanger. Now, I always said that the same thing with We Can Never Go Home, which ironically enough, I think I read around the time I read this too. So it's kind of funny, I bought this around the second time that I reread We Can Never Go Home. But We Can Never Go Home, I swear I always said it ended on a cliffhanger. That's not the case. My most recent reread, which we'll get a review of that soon enough, my most recent reread, it doesn't end on a cliffhanger, it just ends on a sort of open-ended ending. Definitive enough to satisfy most people, but those who want everything answered are going to be a little bit disappointed. It's what us movie aficionados call an ambiguous ending. But sort of ambiguous. So you can make the argument that it's only half ambiguous. But anyways, this collects all 5 issues of Plutona. I believe it's 5 issues. Yeah, 5 issues. Of Plutona. And then I do this again. Showing the artworks, making sure I showed it. I always like to be complete. Like, I like to always go Plutona, so let's say Plutona had like a tagline. So Plutona Volume One, We Can Never Go Home, or whatever the hell it was called. Collecting issues 1 through 5 of Plutona, written by Jeff Lemire, and then artwork done by Emmy Lennox, colors by Jordi Belair. And I show the interior artwork. That's complete for me. For me to just say Plutona, Stairway Anthology, and then so on and so forth is really incomplete for me, and I feel like it's just boring, honestly. I want to have something new to add. And also, Scotty Young and Scott Snyder had blurbs here. So you don't want to take my word for it, take their word for it. This is a damn good series. Mini-series. Next up is another Jeff Lemire magnum opus, and one I've read before. Library had it, now I own my personal collection. But this time I upgraded to the Compendium, and that is Royal City, Compendium 1. No, I do not know why they say Compendium 1, because unlike Plutona, this does have a definitive ending. Now, is there more story to tell, potentially? Sure, there is. From what I remember, they could do a 10 years later type of thing. But the story that Jeff Lemire wanted to tell is told completely in 14 issues. And it has definitive ending, definitive everything. Again, the only thing I could see them doing is a 10 years later kind of thing. Because I wonder how old the series is, just in general. I wonder if it was published back in 2014. Yeah, all 14 issues. And everything here is done by Jeff Lemire. Except for the lettering, but the artwork is done by Jeff Lemire. So, that being said, this is if you don't like Jeff Lemire's artwork, I don't think it's gonna win you over here. However, I think you should ignore that because this series is really damn good and shows that Jeff Lemire is an absolute powerhouse of a writer. And there's a reason for why I am thinking of just one, like Christmas or my birthday, just getting nothing but Jeff Lemire comics where he's done for Image. The reason why that is going to be is because there's so much he's done for Image, and he keeps doing stuff for Image too. That's why I haven't gotten caught up at this point. But I'm thinking of breaking that rule and be like, so what if he has a series that's still going on strong when I get everything else from him for my birthday or for Christmas? It wouldn't be this Christmas, but you get the point. Maybe next Christmas, and I'll put some of my allowances, not allowance, but some of my paycheck into it. Maybe next year I'll do that. But this year I'm already like, there's already books that are sacrificed in order to get other books, so I'm already trying to budget it and kind of feeling I'm trying to budget. But anyways, Royal City, absolutely phenomenal series, like 9 out of 10. You should definitely pick it up, and I'm glad to have it in my personal collection. Personal erection. Then we have the last three. Yes, the last three are all hardcovers. And that's the main reason why instead of it being something like 18 comics like it was last month, it's 11 because 4 of these were hardcovers. Now, this one, the next one, and especially the last one, I paid almost full price for all of these. In fact, this one I believe I paid full price. And that is We Call Them Giants, written by Kieran Gillen, with artwork done by Stephanie Hans, and that's it. I don't think... Yeah, I was right. Okay, so I was right. It's just, oh, sorry. Designed by Becca Carey, but art was done by Stephanie Hans. And here's the artwork for... The incredible artwork for We Call Them Giants. But Kieran Gillen is, like... I have to get everything that he's done for Image. He's just such a damn good writer. He's one of those writers who I've not read a single thing by him I've hated. His Young Avengers run, I think I only was my most recent time, I was just like kind of in the middle of it, like I was kind of mid, just because I always felt that way too, just because of how good that first run of Young Avengers is by. Who was written by? I know Jim Chung was the artwork. Alan Heinberg. That Alan Heinberg and Jim Chung run on Young Avengers is like untouchable. Like, there's no. Honestly, there was no way that they can make a sequel to that and not have it be at the very least mid. Kieran Gillen did the best he could and actually made America Chavez an interesting and investing and well-written character after Gabby Riviera did whatever the hell she did to that character. So it has that going for it. It's not bad. If you like Kieran Gillen's writing, you'll like that just fine. But just based off of how good Alan Heinberg's and Jim Chung's run was, it just kind of pales in comparison. But yes, We Call Them Giants. This was called an original graphic novel, meaning this doesn't collect issues 1 through 4 of previously published material. It was just all in one original graphic novel. Think of it basically as just collecting the first issue of the series. That's just one issue, like a one shot, if anything. Those of you who know your comics, but even then you know what OGN is. Well, actually, no. Someone did know what an OGN was, and they were a pretty long time comic fan. So, hey, there's things in comics I don't know about. So I just recently found out about too. So, I'm not gonna put it past anyone to not know what OGN stands for. No matter how long they've been in the comics game. I just realized this now. It was a bit too far back. It wasn't too bad. You could still see everything. I would have, if I didn't like how it looked, I would have done that a long time ago. But I just realized it was a bit too far back. Usually I have it this close. But anyways, next up is Anzuelo, written and drawn and colored and everything done by Emma Rios. Now, Emma Rios is, to be fair, a writer I only pick up her stuff because it's one of those artist turned writers. I don't know how good she is at writing, but her artwork seems to be pretty good, and I just, why not, you know? She hasn't done a whole lot for Image, like, it's just in general, so picking up her entire bibliography for Image is not a hard task to do. I don't count like, oh, she had a variant cover for Philadelphia. I'm not going to get Philadelphia just for that reason alone. But I will get things that she's written and drawn. Maybe did the artwork for. But here's the artwork for Anzuelo. And like with We Call Them Giants, this thick hardcover is an OGN. Yeah, so this is a good example of why I feel like Image Comics has the best pricing, and it's one of the many reasons why I've just been getting exclusive. Why for comics I own at least, it's just been exclusively Image. For comics I'm reading, it can be any other publisher, Dark Horse, Marvel, DC, Vault. I am not picky when it comes to those, but when it comes to books I own, Image has been like just my best friend, honestly. The pricing is outstanding. The creative talent is outstanding. Like, I would say, like, there's no way that anyone who likes comics can't find at least one series from Image to really like. At least one. Like, you can be the pickiest comic reader ever, and you will have at least one series from Image. Like, this is really damn good, and not just, you know, because it was better than I thought it would be. No, just in general, it's really damn good. But so this 304, Angus actually the exact amount, 304 page, short standard size but still hardcover is $24.99. Compare that with, didn't I have one here? It was also $24.99, and it was like, it wasn't even that old. Guess not. I guess a good example is this is thrice the size as We Call Them Giants is, and We Call Them Giants is already $20, and same size hardcover too. So that's a good example of how sometimes, yeah, their pricing isn't always the best, but sometimes it'll be so damn good you can't pass it up. Like, it's just like such a good deal, list price, even going by list price, that you can't pass it up. Then, and last but not least, we have Dead Roman, selecting all 6 issues of this miniseries, written by Fred Kennedy, with artwork done by Nick Marinkovich. And the colorist is Jose. I didn't know it's Jose. Ruba. For issues 2 through 6, at least. So it looks like Nick Marinkovich did the colors for the entire series, but it was assisted, at least for issue 1, but then was assisted at the very least by Jose for the issues 2 through 6. This is one of those series that I just put off for the longest time, mostly because of the pricing. I felt like there was a lot to spend. Yeah, this is oversized. This is the size of an omnibus. Not as thick though. And I kind of felt like that was a bit too expensive, and it wasn't a series that was anything that I recognized. Writer didn't recognize. Nothing really like stood out too much. But I decided this month I was gonna get it because I remembered it. I was like, I want to get that now. And Fred Kennedy, this is the only thing he's written, like in general, not just for Image, but in general. And I always like that too. But that, as I say, is that 11 books. I got enough. I got plenty.